Olli and Lissa, also known as Olli and Lissa, The Ghost of Shilmore Castle, is an absolutely gorgeous ZX Spectrum game. It also has some mighty fine title music to go along with it, and this seems to have been stuck in my mind for 30 years. I had really fond memories of this game, from its superbly animated graphics, its big, chunky sprites, and its easy-to-grasp gameplay. This kind of game was an absolute dream to me on the Spectrum, but I can only ever really remember a couple of screens. It didn't take long to find out why that is. I only remembered a couple of screens from the game because I'd never actually gotten any further than that. Still, I harboured a lot of love for a game that I could barely scratch the surface of, and I put a lot of that love down to the graphics, the feel of the controls, and just how charming everything is. Beneath that charm, however, this is a vicious little shit of a game, and there's a number of reasons for that. Firstly, Room 1. Looks simple enough, but the first thing you're going to notice is that Olli's jump is a very precise affair. You're tasked by what is presumably the ghost of Shilmore Castle, that's him up there, to go and grab a lamp. Seems simple enough, and it is, but it's not particularly easy without practice. Olli's jumping arc and the height and speed of the enemies means there's pretty much an exact point where you have to press the jump button. If you press too early, or too soon, or too late, or anywhere other than the exact point that you need to press it, Olli is going to get pissed off with you and you start the stage again. There are no lives here. Olli and Lissa adopts a timer instead. Each mistake you make and each return to the beginning of the level means the timer becomes a constant reminder of just how little time you have to do this. Anyway, lamp got and lamp given. Kisses on the mouth from our beautiful Lissa. Stage 1 done. The ghost of Shilmore Castle has another ingredient he wants. So I'll leave them behind and I head next door and come to some ghosts on the very next floor. Here's where things start to ramp up. This stage alone is the cause of so many failed run-throughs of this game, it's unreal. As with all stages in Olli and Lissa, there's a specific knack to get through unscathed. Repeated play, of which there will be plenty, will result in better skill, but I will be damned if that first frog enemy didn't end 90% of my playthroughs. I swear, no matter how many times I played, I would always undershoot or overshoot the jump. And it explains why this is the furthest I ever got at 6 years old. Anyway, treasure collected, and now we have to head back. This is a common theme with the game, and it's one you're going to notice very quickly. Honestly, the character names Olli and Lissa could easily have been swapped out for toing and froing, and it would make more sense. Every time you collect an ingredient, you have to head back. Once you return the ingredient, you head back out the way you came, even further. You better make damn sure you're good at this, because you're going to need to be repeatedly good at this. Anyway, back through the ghosts our Olli returns. A kiss on the mouth is just what he earns. Another ingredient from the ghost is requested. So I leave them behind and I head through the door, and I deal with the ghosts on the very next floor, and I come to a castle with bats overhead. If I don't jump correctly, I'll end up dead. This stage had me baffled for a good while. The pattern of the bats seemed to never line up, and I only managed to get the ingredient by a pure fluke by grabbing it just before a bat hit me. I knew I'd need a better solution than this, as I'd be repeatedly running through this stage later on. I worked out that you can stand on the very edge of the battlements and those flying gits can't touch you. This ended up being the easiest section of the game, and it's practically the only one that has any mercy on you. Anyway, over the castle and back past the bats, Olli can't wait to receive his congrats. Back through the ghosts, our Olli returns. A kiss on the mouth is just what he earns. 3 ingredients collected, but the ghost has decided he wants another one. So I leave them behind and I head through the door, and I deal with the ghosts on the very next floor. The bats on the battlement don't stop me. I can jump past with ease, finish off at the tree. Then I come to a place where insects wriggle. To get through this, there's a bit of a niggle. And that niggle consists of a weird semi-hidden platform. If you try to jump over the worm slash caterpillar while you're on the floor, you won't have enough lift to make it. He's actually worming his way around on a slightly higher platform than Ollie. Here you need to get on his level before jumping. The spiders aren't too much of an issue, apart from when you're on your return journey, where they'll become a pain in the arse. Following our squiggly friend back to the first hill is the easiest and fastest option I could find. So, back through the woods our hero sets off. Back past the bats, jump over the troughs. Back through the ghosts our Ollie returns. A kiss on the mouth is just what he earns. Oh good, the ghost wants another ingredient. So I leave them behind and I head through the door and I deal with the ghosts on the very next floor. The bats on the battlement don't stop me. I can jump past with ease, finish off at the tree, and I get past the worm because I stood on the hill, and I get past the spiders determined to kill, and I get to a place that is rather abstract. For a moment I thought that the game might be whacked. What is this? What am I looking at? Has the game crashed? What is this? Why? What? These are all thoughts that ran through my head when I first entered this screen, and they're still pretty prevalent now. It only gets worse when you try and navigate it. I have absolutely no idea what the developer was thinking here, but this level is sheer hell to get past. There are invisible platforms here which I think are supposed to correlate with the layout of the land, but it's so finicky to work this out that I actually thought the game had crashed and I was supposed to spawn in at the bottom left of the level. Turns out, no, this is what you have to deal with, and no matter how many times I went through this section, I almost never got the positioning right first time. Ollie has to jump at precisely the right points to get to invisible lower platforms, landing on them as he descends. If he misses them, he dies. If he times it wrong, he dies. It's an infuriating section that should be jettisoned into the sun. Finally though, I got my ingredient, and it was time to head back. Carefully jumping, leave water behind, keeping the platforms the front of his mind. Back through the woods, jump on the hill. Back past the bats, you all know the drill. Back through the ghosts, our Ollie returns. A kiss on the mouth is just what he earns. Well, what a surprise. Another ingredient. Ollie definitely got the short straw on this one. So I leave them behind and I head through the door and I deal with the ghosts on the very next floor. The bats on the battlement don't stop me. I can jump past with ease, finish off at the tree, and I get past the worm because I stood on the hill, and I get past the spiders determined to kill. Now remember the platforms here at the lake and make sure you land on them right, for God's sake. We arrive at a cave. What horror's in store? This toing and froing is starting to bore. Oh, this cave. The last section had bullshit platforming with invisible elements. This one has bullshit platforming with a lot of waiting. The bat in particular needs to be in the exact correct position before attempting this one, and it gets even worse on the way back, where you often have to wait for a good 10 to 20 seconds to ensure that the bat is heading down before you can jump across. It's alright guys, it's not like I'm on a constantly depleting timer or anything. Back through the bastards who all made him wait. Success sometimes feel like it's left up to fate. Carefully jumping, leave water behind, keeping the platforms the front of his mind. Back through the woods, jump on the hill. Back past the bats, you all know the drill. Back through the ghosts, our Ollie returns. A kiss on the mouth is just what he earns. Hello ghost, what do you want this time? Great, bye then. So I leave them behind and I head through the door and I deal with the ghosts on the very next floor. The bats on the battlement don't stop me. I can jump past with ease, finish off at the tree, and I get past the worm because I stood on the hill, and I get past the spiders determined to kill. Now remember the platforms here at the lake and make sure you land on them right, for God's sake. Then we're back in the cave where timing is key. I'll be glad to survive it, I'm sure you'll agree. We go through the cave and we're back on our mission, but first we must jump past some more apparitions. I'm not sure why the cave network seems to link directly back into a castle, but who knows at this point. I'm honestly just glad to get back to a level that has me jumping over patterns of enemies instead of navigating ridiculously tight platforms or invisible bullshit. This stage is simple enough, though it's not exactly easy. It's a breath of fresh air compared to the last two areas. Treasure collected. So, back up the stairs, he's back in the cave. Hopefully enemies learn to behave. Carefully jumping, leave water behind, keeping the platforms the front of his mind. Back through the woods, jump on the hill. Back past the bats, you all know the drill. Back through the ghosts, our Ollie returns. A kiss on the mouth is just what he earns. We're at our final ingredient. You know, Ghost, this would have all been a hell of a lot easier if you'd just given me a list and I could have collected all of this shit at once. Screw you, Ghost. So I leave them behind and I head through the door and I deal with the ghosts on the very next floor. The bats on the battlement don't stop me. I can jump past with these, finish off at the tree, and I get past the worm because I stood on the hill, and I get past the spiders determined to kill. Now remember the platforms here at the lake and make sure you land on them right, for God's sake. Then we're back in the cave where timing is key. I'll be glad to survive it, I'm sure you'll agree. We go through the cave and we go downstairs. We get past the ghosts even when they're in pairs. And finally here, our last destination. I'm going to need some heavy sedation. More bats. But this time, at least, the patterns are slightly less tricksy and getting across to the treasure is relatively simple. Don't be tricked, though, into thinking that you need to take this bottom path back. I fell for that trick. You don't even need to go near this purple smurf, so save yourself the hassle. Finally, I have the last ingredient. Now I've just got to get back and get the victory screen I bloody well deserve. Back past the wall and back up the stairs, back through the cave with a handful of prayers, carefully jumping, leave water behind, keeping the platforms the front of his mind, back through the woods, jump on the hill, back past the bats, you all know the drill, back through the ghosts that Ollie returns. A kiss on the mouth is all that he earns. Honestly, a new animation at this point was really warranted. Olli and Lissa should be getting married right about now. Or at least show me what the results of the potion that I've just spent 5 hours putting together does. What can I say about Olli and Lissa that isn't immediately evident from the footage I've just shown you? Can I recommend it? Can I stick up for a game that is absolutely adamant that I die, give up, and go home? Honestly, I'm probably going to regret this, but yes. Olli and Lissa is on the verge of unfairness. It manages to tip over that edge in a couple of stages that shall not be named, but otherwise it pitches its difficulty at a particular angle, and it does it with enough charm and character that I can't help but still enjoy the game, even if I also hate it with a passion. It could easily be a game that falls into the style over substance category, but it manages to be more than that. It's a pain marathon. It's a pain marathon wearing a Care Bears t-shirt with big doughy eyes and purrs like a kitten. If I could scrub the weird river level and the cave from the game and maybe throw a couple of different, i.e. better, levels in there, I probably wouldn't be having this internal argument with myself. But I do recommend it. But I also don't. But I do, but I don't. Look, it hinges on this. Are you prepared to get better? Can you put up with a couple of horrible areas that you're going to have to repeat in order to enjoy the better parts of the game? If so, then yes, get this. It is unfathomably cruel, but it's also endearingly charming, and it's got me absolutely torn as to whether or not I can categorically state which pile I would put it in. Will I play it again? Yes. Will I enjoy playing it again? No, but also yes. Anyway, as for the ending, we do get a little something extra for our troubles. Once the game over screen fades away, we get another cracking Spectrum tune to enjoy. So long, Olli and Lissa, and so long, Ghost of Shilmore Castle, you stupid, time-wasting twat.